Hi, this is the History of Israel podcast, an Each My Own Beat podcast. Over the coming weeks, months, and years, we'll be discussing the history of Israel. This is not a podcast to say which side is right, which side is wrong. It's not a podcast to talk about the war which is happening in Palestine. It's just simply the history of Israel. Welcome back to the History of Israel podcast, episode 26. The Rabbinic Period. The Rabbinic Period, or the Talmudic Period, denotes a transformative era in Jewish history, spanning from the destruction of the Second Temple in 70 CE to the Muslim conquest in 638 CE, pivotal in shaping Judaism in its classical form. It is regarded as the second most important era in the Jewish history after the Biblical period. After the failure of the Great Jewish Revolt of 66 to 73 CE, Roman measures such as the Ficus Judaicus and the land confiscation severely impacted the Jewish population of Judea. Destruction of Jerusalem and the temple required Jewish culture to adapt in order to survive. Judaism endured, though the establishment of new centers of scholarship and leadership, initially at the Yavan, under the Yohanan ben Zakkai, who promoted a focus on Torah study and synagogue worship. The new decades also saw the Jewish response to several catastrophic events, including the failed diaspora uprisings of 115 to 117 CE and the Bar Kokhba revolt of 132 to 135 CE, a failed bid for the reestablishment of the independent Jewish state in Judea. The suppression of these revolts by the Romans led to the devastation of the Judea proper, as well as the diaspora communities, the deaths and enslavement of many Jews, further displacement, and the economic hardship. Despite these challenges, Jewish communal life continued to thrive, particularly in Galilee, which became a major center of Jewish life and scholarship. The authority of the patriarchs were instrumental in maintaining Jewish continuity during the transformative period. During the later Rabbinic period, the Jewish population in the land of Israel continued to decline under the Christianized Roman rule. Jews started facing discriminatory laws and religious persecution, and many immigrated and flourished diaspora communities. From the 3rd century onward, the Jewish community in Babylonia became a central hub of Jewish life, benefiting from a relatively tolerant environment under the Sasanian Empire. Contemporary estimates frequently place the Babylonian Jewish population during the captivity period of approximately 1 million, establishing it as the largest Jewish diaspora community at the time. The period of economic prosperity and political reform also allowed the Babylonian Jews community led by the Exarch to thrive and foster significantly theologically and literary developments. During the Rabbinic period, Jewish communities were also present in various regions to the Mediterranean, including Egypt, North Africa, Asia Minor, Italy, and Spain. The Rabbinic period was also consequential in the ongoing development of Judaism and its traditions. During the time, the Jewish religious practice transitioned from focus in the temple of sacrificial practices to the greater emphasis on the halakha and the agaga. The period saw the creation of major texts of rabbinic literature, such as the Mishnah, Tosafot, Jewish Talmud, and Babylonian Talmud, and various Midrashim. Jews maintained their culture and religious identity by speaking to and writing in Hebrew and Aramaic, and developed liturgy, including pietism. They set up synagogues and yeshivas, engaged in mysticism, and hoped for the Messiah to bring their exile to an end. This has been the History of Israel podcast. Check back every Wednesday for new episodes. We're available on Apple, iTunes, Google Podcasts, as well as Spotify. We also have each episode streaming on YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. We're available on eatmyownbeat.com as well as the History of Israel podcast on Facebook.